Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi-ho, everybody, and welcome back to D Plus Us Weekly, the show where we talk about Disney Plus exclusive shows, episode by episode, week by week. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tennell, Griffey D. Penn. With me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing, the marvelous Mr. Mitch George. How's it going?
This is on YouTube, so we're not. I know we're not supposed to say expletives at the beginning of these videos.
We're past
but
30
I
seconds.
I freaking called it last week.
Oh, what about, well, that's a spoiler. Remember, folks, that this show is full spoilers for Secret Invasion, episode 4. Normally I pull up the name of the episode. I don't remember the name of the episode this week. Mitch, if you want to help me out.
Betrayal or...
Betrayal sounds
Beloved.
right. Beloved. Yeah, Betrayal was last
I knew it was
week.
a B. I knew it was a B.
Before we get into that, let me hit y'all with a quick fact and then the rigmarole. That quick fact is that movie executives suck. Remember to support the WGA strike. Because Jesus Christ, that Variety article, like, holy shit.
Well, there's that, and the fact that the WGA strike has saved us from having to watch Bad Bunny in a Marvel film. So
they get much credit. But yeah, seriously, support the writers if you can. There's plenty of ways to do that. Just Google. Seriously, it's just that easy. Now for the actual rigmarole. Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. If you're listening, go check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/@DPlusUs. Make sure to follow us on TikTok, Twitter, everywhere for when we are offline for fun clips out and whatnot and funny bits and goofs and hardy-hars.
We goof? I thought this was a deadpan serious program.
Oh, just wait for when we do the Haunted Mansion episode, Mitch. I got plans.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. Are you playing like full Hatbox Ghost regalia? Because that's about the level I'd expect at this point from you.
I legitimately looked into getting an outfit that is what the cast members wear outside of the Haunted Mansion.
Oh god!
But it was way too expensive for the bit, so I did not do that. I still have some bits planned.
You have enough Haunted Mansion flannel for 6 people, so
you'll be fine. One Haunted Mansion flannel. That's it.
Which is enough for 6 people because no one needs to own that much flannel, let alone a Haunted Mansion flannel.
Mitch,
we're not here to
talk
about
in
that.
Portland. Everyone wears flannel here. It's 70 degrees outside, and I wore a beanie today. Actually, it was like 80, but that's beside the point.
Northwesterners.
No, seriously, go support the writers. This is full spoilers. We're everywhere. Oh yeah, go check out our other stuff. This is gonna probably be the last week I talk about it. We do have a video up right now, a full 40-minute video essay about Disney's lawsuit against DeSantis.
I'm gonna keep talking about it because stuff keeps changing, and that video deserves all the love. So.
Yeah, I'm beginning working on the next video, which is a significantly less serious topic because I needed something lighthearted after working on that for 3 months. So
that's understandable. The next one should be just as fun.
I also wanted something that wasn't going to take me 3 months to make. Yeah, new one coming as soon as I actually start writing it and doing things and whatnot. But yeah, go check that out. Go check out our episode-by-episode stuff. We just put out an episode this week about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which, depending on who you ask, could either be an amazing movie or a terrible movie. It really, like, and I say that in terms of everybody, not just us. Like, really, the reviews are really, like, fully across the board. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's one that I think deserves the love that it's getting for being this nostalgia trip, and one that deserves the criticisms it's getting in terms of it,
for being a nostalgia trip.
Yeah. But we get into that more in the episode, so if you do, go give that a listen and let us know what you thought in the comments of that video or on Twitter of the things. Just talk to us. We want to talk to you. So
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
With that all said and done, let's talk about Secret Invasion. Starting full spoilers. Go watch the episode. Come right on back. Yeah, you totally called Gaia not being dead.
I totally called it. Gaia could not. They're not going to kill the person that they're adding to this show. Is the name?
I will tell you
halfway through the show.
The moment Gaia got back up was the moment I knew Talos was going to die.
I didn't, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to will it into existence. He's not dead
How
somehow.
the fuck is Talos not dead?
Gaia shows up with it does like a blood transfusion thing, and somehow the Extremis passes from her to him, and
Except
now they
she
both
doesn't
have
know
superpowers.
he's dead yet.
No, but maybe she does because she's a super spy and she was hiding in the woods or something.
Yeah, maybe. I do
She was
love though that
tailing-
guy is still calling him on his bullshit of like,
That's
I need a
'cause
plan.
that-
You have no plan. Stop not having a plan.
So his plan was what he did in this episode, which was to sacrifice himself for his people to save, like that whole thing of, oh my God, he's an alien. No, he's with me. And then he saves the president and then is immediately murked for doing so is
Oh, it's gonna be the thing.
some
that,
of the most interesting storytelling we've gotten from the MCU in a very long time.
you always see the thing, right? Like everything in the MCU at the moment feels very samey, feels very flat because of that, and you don't really feel the stakes as much in this massive universe where at any given moment, you know, a god could fly in and hit somebody with a hammer, and suddenly everything's okay. Like,
This is a very earthbound story in a way that even though it involves the idea of aliens trying to resettle on Earth and find their place, it is very much rooted in the conversations that Fury and Rhodey are having about race in America and sticking up for each other because historically black people have been disenfranchised in your country and like
in the
globally.
world.
Yeah, and Fury recognizing that in the Skrulls and in Talos specifically and trying to help them find their place in this world that has not given him and his people their place in that world it's a really interesting parallel between the Skrulls and black culture within this show, which I don't think a lot of people are either they're catching onto it and they don't care, or they're just not watching this show or not recognizing these themes in this show. And to that, I will say, go and watch this show, please. I mean, you're here, you're listening to us, you've watched this episode, you are probably enjoying it. And if you're not, let us know in the comments what you are or aren't enjoying about this show. We got to be the champions of this because it's a great diversion from the typical MCU formula in a way that I'm sort of reinvigorated for what the future of the MCU might hold because of how interesting this story is with the very light framing of Secret Invasion was a story in the comics, but this has nothing to do with it in any way whatsoever. And I really love.
It's a very unique story, which is really
Yeah.
we don't get a ton of the. Actually, well, we get a lot of these, but you know what I'm saying.
We don't get
something
at
that's
this scale.
that is this unique. And I really am liking that about this. It's interesting where it's like not many people are talking about this one, when this one's actually pretty good. You know, like I love our week to week Marvel recaps, and this is one of my favorite things we do. But very much with a lot of these shows, if we weren't doing this week to week, I wouldn't be watching them week to week. I would let them stack.
Yeah.
This is a show where I would not let these stack. Like,
No.
These are great. And other shows are coming out right now that I am, like, heavily invested in. Like, I am heavily invested now in Adventures of Superman. Like, and I will be watching those on day one. But I'm still going to make time for this one because of how good Secret Invasion is. And yes,
I would watch Adventures of Superman if it was easy to stream in Canada. Stupid HBO
yes,
Max. And their
this was
HBO
just an
rules.
excuse to shout out Adventures of Superman because the show is fantastic. But
You see some of this casting coming out from James Gunn's Superman movie?
I'm like real confused as to what this movie's going to be based
This
off the
movie's gonna
characters.
be wild. Oh yeah, here's a whole bunch of superheroes and a Green Lantern you were never expecting.
Dude, so the thing that got me with James Gunn as a tangent was he had made some tweet. I don't remember what the whole sentiment of the tweet was, but he referred to both Superman and Lois as protagonists, which is like, okay, great, I'm sold. That's all you needed. That's all I needed. Perfect.
Investigative journalism, sign me the heck up.
Because I would tell you like 80% of what makes Superman interesting is Lois. So, and that's me loving his character. I love Superman. So
That's
anyways,
it's what Superman historically in film at least has not done justice to the character of Lois, other than the Christopher Reeve films, and maybe if you want to look at Superman and Lois with Terry Hatcher, I forget her name. So apologies for that, but like that did.
are you
justice
talking
to
about
that
like the
character
current
as-
Superman Lois or?
Oh, I'm
TV
talking about like
show, or-
90s.
Oh,
As
okay.
much as we don't like crazy right wing nut job that played Superman in that, Dean something.
I don't remember his name. I was like,
something,
here's the
whatever.
thing. I hear Superman and Lois these days, and I think about the CW show where Bitsy Sulik plays Lois.
I
So,
like that version of Superman. I didn't get invested in
honestly,
that show.
hey, if you want a great version of Lois, just watch Smallville. honestly. Yeah, it takes a little bit to get Lois introduced, but once Lois is there, like Lois steals the show. Anyways, Marvel comic books. No, I really like this show. I love that I love Nick Fury. Every second Nick Fury shows up more, I love him even more.
It was Dean Cain.
Dean
was
Cain.
the crazy nut job that played Superman in that. Yeah.
This episode confirmed one of my favorite things about Fury is that Fury has all of the best one-liners in the MCU.
100%.
The line that got me for like legitimately like laughing my ass off while I was trying to eat my lunch today was right after him and Priscilla both shoot the wall. He's like, I'm not sure.
Are we getting divorced?
I'm not sure we get divorced or renewed our
vows.
vows. Yeah, it's like, God damn it, Samuel L. Jackson. But yeah, their whole relationship in this, everything with Rhodey. What an episode, man.
And it flew by. I was disappointed when it ended, but ultimately, I think this episode told the story it needed to of, Gaia surviving and having that heart-to-heart with her dad and understand. Like, she's going to pick up that cause now if, Talos really is dead, which, again, it's comics. Friggin' anything can happen. An alien, like, we could see a light beam come down from friggin' the sword station, and then he's beamed up and put in, like, cryogenic freezing to, like, heal or some crap. Like, they could do anything. It's a comic book show. Like, it's weird. But at the end of the day, I do think that the mission that Talos had will become Gaia's. And it'll be interesting to see how she wrestles with that dynamic with Fury, knowing what her dad sacrificed and what Gravik is trying to put their people through, which she seems to agree with to an extent, right? So,
yeah, like you said, anything can happen in this, and you could say, Mitch, that anything can happen with the power of imagination.
Oh, you got it.
Sorry, I had to. No, seriously, I do think he's dead. I frankly think that this was actually a great way for him to die. This is a death of a character that actually like lends itself to the character. It actually completes that character's story arc, which is the hardest thing you need to do with a death. And I'm saying this on the day of the release of the death of Miss Marvel comic book, which still pisses me off.
Because she's coming back as an Inhuman.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, mutant. It was the other way around. Yeah.
But yeah, actually having that was really good for Talos, especially the way it does happen. The fact that it is Gravik, that whole moment of Fury realizing that the person carrying him is not who he thinks it is. It's not a soldier. It's actually a Skrull. And the reveal that it's Gravik and the reveal that he's a super Skrull, which isn't the reveal to Fury, not the reveal to us.
Yeah, we've already like. Yeah,
I love that use of superpowers in this because it's so nonchalant.
It's just and they chose powers that aren't the most visually demanding. The Groot thing in this was cool, but even like the Extremis stuff that we've seen between the hand, Gaia getting shot, and now Gravik's face getting blown off have been really subtle uses of like, okay, Fury is definitely in over his head, and how is he going to get out of this jam? I think what's most interesting here, and I'm still convinced that this is Nick Fury we're talking about. I'm still convinced that, Maria Hill is not dead. I'm still convinced that Talos isn't dead until I see the body being cremated or buried with a face being visible. I am fully on the camp of Fury will find a way to bring those folks back. He did it with friggin' Coulson with brain surgery. He can do whatever the heck he wants here because it's a goddamn comic book show. But at the end of the day, I do agree with you that the gravity of Talos's sacrifice is like his martyrdom for the Skrulls and what that means to him having saved the life of the U.S. president will mean more to the Skrulls on Earth than anything that Gravik can do or has done, and it's gonna drive him insane, and that's what's going to lead to the ultimate confrontation between Gravik and Fury.
Yeah, I can't wait for the moment next week we get of the president having that conversation with Nick, because we know that's how they're opening. Like,
or presenting the Purple Heart to Gaia in like for her father's sacrifice and saving the U.S. president or something, right?
I would presume that's like at the very end of the show. But
I could see that being the end of the next episode. Of they do this, of they have the U.S. president present this posthumous achievement, whatever you want to call it.
Better.
I can't think of the right word, to Gaia, who will accept it as a Skrull and not as the human face she's taken on. Like that is going to mean more to the Skrull movement on Earth than anything Gravik's done, and it's going to piss him off, and he's going to go nuts.
Yeah, I think I want to pull it back away from Gravik for a second, because obviously with Gravik, I want to talk about Rhodey more. And the whole idea of a character we love being a Skrull, because I don't love that Rhodey's a Skrull.
I do, and I don't think he's been a Skrull for very long, because this has been
and that's why I don't love it. That is why I don't love it.
Okay. It would be cool if it was like a long-term play, right?
Rhodey being a Skrull is very much feels, and it's, obviously we've only gotten this in one episode. Things can change. It's a whole series, and we say that every week. Rhodey feels like Marvel trying to have their cake and eat it too, where they want you to still have all this emotional weight behind this character, but also they want you to love, and they still want you to love this character because of that, but they also want you to hate this character because they are a Skrull working for Gravik. And they've did so in such a way, to me, that didn't have that moment of, oh shit, the rug gets pulled out from under you when you fall into the trapdoor. They didn't have this big betrayal moment, which is very much a thing with these, of like, the moment you introduce a character as a Skrull, you are throwing away any and all character development they had before that. You have to a degree.
I don't think
and
you
then,
have to. I think there's enough that they can do via flashback to reveal how Rhodey was captured, at what point in the timeline Rhodey was taken
you have
hostage,
to establish that. And
I think they will. I think this next episode, or whenever the episode is, whichever episode ends or involves Fury and Gaia rescuing Rhodey and all of the other folks that have been captured and used as faces for Gravik's movement, like there will be a moment in that episode that reveals why or how Rhodey was replaced, when Rhodey was replaced.
Absolutely.
Because I do think, if you look at someone like Rhodey, if Rhodey had been replaced pre-Endgame, let's say, and you had a Skrull agent working throughout the blip, hand in hand with the Avengers, understanding everything about how they're operating, like that reveal could be huge. And like,
but even with that, we got none of that. We didn't get anything for it, and that's what frustrates me with this. We could, Mitch, but it doesn't matter at this point to me. It doesn't matter if we get it in the future, because that first initial moment has to hit, and you have to have all of the weight of all of that in that scene. And what we got in this was a shower scene.
I don't necessarily agree, because I do think, like, I have always felt that Rhodey in Endgame was kind of misused. He had a couple of one-liners that were funny, but by and large, that character was wasted. Like, where did he disappear to? How did he get this other suit? Like, there are elements of that movie that could be made better by the realization that Rhodey had been a Skrull through the entirety of that film, at least for me as a viewer. So I do think that there's enough that they can do here to redeem qualities or aspects of other properties that I didn't quite enjoy. And that's something the MCU does so well.
See, I think they can redeem that
use
stuff,
properties
but for this
to
show,
make
it's
that
still...
I didn't like better in hindsight.
Yeah, and I think it will do that. I think it'll absolutely do that for that stuff. But for Secret Invasion, I think it's nil. Where it's like, yeah, you could have all of that, but ultimately, like, you have to have that reveal mean something. And I think they thought that the phone call last week was this big moment for that. So they didn't feel the need to have this big moment here, but you have that moment, that betrayal moment, and it just hits. Like, that was the beauty of the original Secret Invasion, was, like, particularly the betrayal of Jarvis.
Yeah.
Like, that is what makes the Skrulls so powerful, is how they use betrayal, specifically. And I just feel like we're not getting much of that in this show. We got a little bit of it with the Skrull High Council, right? Being all of these world leaders.
Even with the conversations between Priscilla and Rhodey in the church, and like the realization, like we had talked last week, how much does Fury know? How much is he questioning what's going on? And we get the reveal that he is spying on his wife because he suspects that she's doing things that are,
not suspects. He straight up knows, and she does not deny it.
100%, and she knows not to deny it because he's Nick goddamn Fury.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just interesting that these realizations are coming out, and it's all spycraft that's revealing it for Fury. We're seeing him in his element, and I'm curious how much of Fury we lose with the loss of Talos. Like, how much is he going to throw out the window just to try and avenge his friend? because we saw what happened with the Avengers with Coulson, and it does feel like the decades at this point that Talos and Fury have spent working together is going to affect Fury's judgment as we go towards the end of the series. And I'm curious
this is bringing us into the
what
third
happens
act,
and
right?
how it impacts the Marvels as well, because we do know Fury shows up in that.
I mean, it's always that I always think of this stuff in like 3-act structure because that's how my brain works. Of everything,
And it's very easy when you've got 6 episodes that we are now moving into the final act.
everything is either 3-act structure or 2-act structure. The only reason some things are 2-act structure is because I'm a drama nerd. But no, we have that. We have this moment, right? Of like Fury's essentially at his lowest. He's lost his best friend. He's lost a lot of the power he's had. A lot of the power he's had, as we've established over the last 4 episodes, was because of Talos. So, where he is, this entire series, he's been on his ass, but it's even more so now. How is he going to pull through? What's Gaia up to? How's she going to pull through? What's happening with Rhodey? What is Gravik planning as their big endgame moment here? Endgame in terms of
nuking the
Not in
entire
terms
Western
of
world.
the movie Endgame.
No, he's gonna nuke. Like a nuke is on the table at this
Oh,
point
absolutely.
because they've already established that the Skrulls are immune to radiation.
But,
So
like,
like
what's
that
his-
is the end game.
Well, his plan here was right, like to get America and Russia to nuke each other.
Yes.
And now that plan has failed, how is he going to fix it?
It'll be I'm still curious if the plan has failed, because if you've got Nick Fury in one ear of the president saying one thing, and you've got Rhodey who still has the ear of the president, where Fury's got to have something that isn't just like Rhodey now has this tape of him of a Fury shooting Maria Hill, who we all know is Gravik based on what happened in episode 1. But how much does that tape weigh on the president's decision making when it comes to believing either Fury or Rhodey? And what does Fury have on Rhodey at this point, other than what I will assume is him recording the conversation that Rhodey had with Priscilla? So I'll be
Presumably.
curious to see how much of this, like, the president was unconscious. You've got one person who says, yeah, an alien saved you, and the rest saying, hey, these dudes are speaking Russian and they shot at the president with goddamn ballistics missiles and shit.
I love how much they're like, okay, these guys have vaguely Russian technology that we can't tell because they're shooting at us.
Subtitles, and like every other phrase that was ADR'd in this episode was like, oh my god, they're speaking Russian. They must be Russian. I'm just like, oh
It's
my
just like
God,
so
what
like
the hell?
look, I get as Americans we're fucking stupid sometimes. And this was exactly on the nose. Thank you very much.
Well, and that's the thing. Is the U.S. president going to be that stupid going into this next
I
episode?
don't think he will be.
I would bet he will be, and it will be the start of World War III, and Fury's going to have to find some way to defuse the situation.
Yeah, maybe. Obviously, this all depends on next week, which we will talk about next week, as is the cadence of a weekly show.
We got this, then we got Ahsoka, we got some other stuff in there. We got Haunted Mansion coming out soon, which you can catch a full episode on that right before I disappear on vacation. So I'm glad that like the timing on that couldn't be much better.
I think
other
it will
than trying to find
actually
time to
release
record.
it like while you're in Disney. So what we're going to do is
Well,
we're going to figure out.
no, because it depends on what our release schedule is there. I don't know if it's like if it comes out the Tuesday after the movie, I will be on my way to Newfoundland for a wedding. The week after that, I'll be going to Disney.
So we don't
I
need
can
to
just
talk about
promo it while I'm at Disney, though. Like
I'm
I
gonna
can just
need,
do
though-
some TikToks and stuff in front of Haunted Mansion.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm going to
that'd
need
be fun.
copious pictures in front of Haunted Mansion,
got it.
especially on the day that it reopens.
I will be there the day that Haunted Mansion reopens after a short refurbishment.
I would
So
tell
the
you
line
to
is gonna
try
be
to get a
stupid.
picture with the Hatbox Ghost, but Hatbox Ghost will not be installed during this refurbishment.
No, that's not.
What
No,
else
it's not
am I-
this
yeah.
refurb.
Say hi to their ghost dog for me.
Of course.
What other Haunted
I'll get them
Mansion
to say
shit-
hi to you for a TikTok.
What Haunted Mansion? I don't think I can throw any other Haunted Mansion shit in here. No, that's where we're going to wrap this episode, though, folks. Let us know what you thought of Secret Invasion in the comments below on YouTube. And if you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube. Please go to YouTube. We really appreciate
Please.
it. Yeah, great episode. Can't wait for next week. Follow all the things.
6 episodes isn't enough, but it's fine because
I think 6 episodes might be.
I want it.
I think 6 episodes honestly
hope
might
so.
be perfect.
I
for this.
hope 6 episodes is perfect. I don't want to go from a 33-minute episode to having to do like an 85-minute episode to cover all the loose threads. Like, we'll see what happens.
Shortest episode of the show. and one. I'm calling it now. They keep doing it to us. It's going to happen. We will see y'all next week, but until then, have a magical day.
Excelsior.